Hello students, let's continue chapter 11 Transportation in Animals and Plants. In the previous class, we discussed about excretion in animals. Now we know about the excretory system which consists of kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. The next topic we are going to discuss is transport of substances in plants. In chapter 1, you learned that plants take water and mineral nutrients from the soil through the roots and transport it to the leaves. The leaves prepare food for the plants using water and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. You also learned in chapter 10 that food is a source of energy and every cell of an organism gets energy by the breakdown of glucose. The cells use this energy to carry out vital activities of life. Therefore, food must be made available to every cell of an organism. Have you ever wondered how water and nutrients absorbed by the root are transported to the leaves? How is the food prepared by the leaves carried to the parts which cannot make food? We have discussed about the process of photosynthesis. During the process of photosynthesis, leaves prepare food for the plant using water, carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight. The roots of plants take water and mineral nutrients from the soil, and these are transported to the leaves. We know that food is necessary for the survival of every living organism as it is a source of energy. Every cell gets energy by the breakdown of glucose present in the food. The energy we get from the food is used by the cell to carry out various vital activities. So it is necessary that food must be made available to every cell of an organism. Since the food is prepared by the leaves in plants, how is the food carried out to different parts of the plant which cannot make food? Also, how are the water and nutrients which are absorbed by the roots carried, that is, transported to the leaves? For finding the answers of this question, let us discuss the next topic, transport of water and minerals. Plants absorb water and minerals by the roots. The roots have root hair. The root hair increases the surface area of the root for the absorption of water and mineral nutrients dissolved in water. The root hair is in contact with the water present between the soil particles. Can you guess how water moves from the roots to the leaves? What kind of transportation system is present in plants? We are well aware of the fact that roots of the plant absorb the essential minerals and water from the soil. The roots have hair-like structures present on them. Now, these hair, that is root hair, they increase the surface area of the root and allow more amount of absorption. These come in contact with the water which is present between the particles of the soil. Now the question is, how does water moves from the roots to the leaves? So next we are going to find out about a transport system which is present in plants. Bojo thinks that plants may have pipes to transport water to the entire plant like we have in our homes for the supply of water. Here we are asked the question that what kind of transport system is present in plants. So Bojo answers this question. He thinks that they have pipes that transport the water to the entire plant just like the way we have pipes in our house for the supply of water. Well, Bujo is right. What we read about that Bujo thinks plants have pipes is somewhat right. Plants have pipe-like vessels to transport water and nutrients from the soil. The vessels are made of special tissue cells. The vessels are made of special cells forming the vascular tissue. A tissue is a group of cells that perform specialized function in an organism. The vascular tissue for the transport of water and nutrients in the plants is called the xylem. Now there are pipe-like vessels in plants which transport water and nutrients that are absorbed by the roots from the soil. Now from the roots, the water and minerals are transported to other parts of the plant through special kind of tissues which are called vascular tissues. Now what is a tissue? It is a group of cells which perform a particular function. Here we have the definition of a tissue. A tissue is a group of cells that perform a specialized function in an organism. So based on the functions they perform, there are two vascular tissues present in the plants. Firstly, let us discuss about xylem. The vascular tissue for transport of water and nutrients in the plant is called xylem. So it is a vascular tissue that is responsible for transporting nutrients and water in the plants. The root cell absorbs water and minerals and transport it to the xylem. The xylem performs a continuous network of channels that connects roots to the leaves to the stem and branches and thus transport water to the entire plant. In figure 11.7, we can see the transport of water and minerals. In the B part, we are given a tree. Now, we know that xylem is a vascular tissue responsible for the transporting of nutrients and water in the plants. So, the root cells, when they absorb water and nutrients, it is transported to the xylem. Now these are connected to each other. The roots are connected with the leaves. Xylem connects the roots to the leaves through stems and branches. So in this way, water and other nutrients are transported in a plant. You know that leaves synthesize food. The food has to be transported to all parts of the plant. This is done by the vascular tissue called the phloem. Thus, xylem and phloem transport substances in plants. So, the next vascular tissue is the phloem. It is a vascular tissue that transports the food produced by the leaves. So, it transports food produced by the leaves to all parts of the plant. The food has to be transported to all parts of the plant, which is done by the phloem. So, xylem and phloem transport substances in plants. Activity 11.3. Take a large potato and peel off its outer skin. Cut one of its end to make the base flat. Now make a deep and hollow cavity on the opposite side. Fill half of the cavity with sugar solution and mark the level by inserting a pin on the wall of the potato as shown in figure 11.8. Put the potato into a dish containing a small level of water. Make sure that the level of water is below the level of the pin. Allow the apparatus to stand for a few hours. You would find an increase in the level of sugar solution. How did water get inside the potato? For a very short distance, water can move from one cell to another. In the same way, water reaches xylem vessels of the root from the soil, as you can see in figure 11.7a. For performing this activity, you require a potato, sugar solution and a small dish. Pour some water into the dish and cut a hollow out of a potato as shown in figure 11.8. What you have to do is you need to fill this hollow with the sugar solution and you need to put a mark over here using a pin that this is the level of the sugar solution. That is, when we initially poured sugar solution into this hollow, this was the level of the sugar solution. So just to make sure, we are putting a pin to mark the level of the sugar solution. Also, outside the potato, in a small container, in a small dish, we have a small amount of water. We need to allow the apparatus to stand for a few hours, that is, we need to leave them undisturbed for some time, and after that you need to observe. Here is the pin which we set up for knowing the level of the sugar solution. So in this figure, as you can see, the level of sugar solution is below the pin, but after a few hours the level of the sugar solution increased. That is, inside the potato the level of the sugar solution increased, that is, the level of water increased. Why does this happen? Here we are given the reason. Water can move from one cell to another for very short distances. बहुत छोटे distances के लिए water जो है it can move from one cell to the other cell. So in this way water transports from the root to the xylem vessels. So in this way water transports from the root to the xylem vessels, as it is shown in figure 11.7a in the section of a root. As you can see, this is the root hair. So this part absorbs the water and all the way it transports it to the xylem vessels. So how does this happen? Because over short distances, that is from one cell to another cell, water can move. So through these cells, water is transported from the root hair to the xylem vessels. Transpiration. In class 6, you learnt that plants release a lot of water by the process of transpiration. Plants absorb mineral nutrients and water from the soil. Not all the water absorbed is utilized by the plant. The water evaporates through the stomata present on the surface of the leaves by the process of transpiration. The evaporation of water from leaves generates a suction pull, the same that you produce when you suck water through a straw, which can pull water to great heights in tall trees. Which can pull water to great heights in the tall trees. Transpiration also cools the plant. So in this paragraph, we read about transpiration. Sometimes not all the water that plants absorb is used by them. Hence, they need to get rid of the excess water in them. This loss of water in plants takes place through the process of transpiration, in which the water evaporates in the atmosphere through the stomata present on the leaves. Stomata are tiny pores present on the leaves that allow the movement of gases and water through them. Now, transpiration results in absorption of water. As the water from the leaves evaporate, it generates a suction pull in the plants that bring the water from the roots upwards. So now this suction pull is the same as the suction we produce when we suck water while we are drinking it through a straw. Also, transpiration helps in cooling down the plants. As the water evaporates, it utilizes the heat of the plants and results in cooling the internal temperature of the plant. Thus, transpiration also cools the plant.